First tip is going to be water. Okay, we're going to be constantly adding water. It's going to allow it to slide through your fingers really easily. What happens is it starts to dry out pretty quickly. Once it starts to dry out, it starts to stick to your fingers. And once it starts sticking to your fingers, that's going to throw it off balance and it's going to cause wobbling. So by constantly just adding water, just allows it to slide through your fingers really easily, okay?
I have a question. It should be bare hands or with gloves?
Say that again?
It should be bare hands or with gloves?
Yeah, we're just using our bare hands. Yeah. So the second tip is going to be stabilizing. So anytime I'm throwing on the wheel, I usually have like my legs around the splash guard. I kind of have my like elbows braced against me. I have my wrists on the splash guard. I'm hunched over like this. I'm doing whatever I can to control what's going on. It is going to be spinning quite quickly on the wheel. So anything you can use to stabilize yourself, you want to take advantage of that, okay? And the last thing is going to be slowly release pressure. So anytime your hands are going to come off of the clay, you want to gradually release pressure. If you make sudden movements, you let go real fast, that again is going to throw it off balance and it's going to start to wobble, okay? Our goal is to get to a cylinder. Pretty much, I would say probably about 95% of everything thrown on the wheel first starts off as a cylinder, and then you kind of shape that cylinder into whatever you want to make. You also want to adjust your cylinder size to whatever you want to make too as well. So for instance, if I was making like a bowl, it's probably going to be like a wider, shorter cylinder opposed to maybe like a vase, which is like smaller in diameter but taller. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's kind of my goal, is to get you to that point to make a cylinder, and then hopefully you can turn that into something that you're happy with. These are electric wheels. They work like the acceleration pedal on your car. The more you push down, the faster it's going to go. Kind of pull back to slow down, pull all the way down to stop, okay? Some people struggle with the wheel, but what you can do is just find a speed that you're comfortable with, and you can just take your foot off and it'll continue to spin. You don't have to really think about that, okay? All right, so let's get into it. First thing I'm going to do,
Put
add
water.
a little bit of water. This is going to allow it to stick. If you put too much water, it's going to slide right off. If you don't put enough, it's going to slide right off. But if you do, I'll give you a towel. Usually if you just wipe it down, that's the right amount, okay? But I do want just enough to have it stick. Now, actually the hardest part of throwing on the wheel is the very first step, which makes it a little difficult, and it's called centering. And basically what we want is a perfect symmetrical ball in the middle of the wheel. It is quite difficult. A lot of times I have to do it for you just so you can move on to the next step. But I am going to show you a few different ways to do this. But I always describe centering as the end result's all that matters, not necessarily how you got there. So I'm going to show you a few different ways. If you can figure it out on your own and not use any of these techniques, then that's fine. As long as it's centered, that's all that matters. But one of the most common ways is what we call the 3-point of pressure. That's adding not just downward pressure or sideways pressure, but a combination of the two. I'm using my palms at these two parts here, and then my fingers pulling towards me up here at the front, okay? You'll be squeezing in. Takes a little bit of muscle.
So you need to be strong for that.
You what?
You need to be strong for that.
Yeah, it does take a lot of muscle.
Oh
But
my God.
the good thing is the clay that you're going to be using today is going to be pretty soft. So it's going to hopefully at least make it a little bit easier for you.
So the clay is made out from the lake mud?
It's not, no, I actually buy my clay.
Because, you know, your store is lake mud, so I thought it's
Yeah,
lake
but
mud.
I have actually extracted clay from from Lake Arrowhead before, yeah, a few times.
Mhm.
There's a place, it's called Tavern Bay. It's like where we take my kid to go swim and stuff. And right there on the shore, they have tons of clay just right there. And I always just fill up my little cooler full of the clay, and I'll bring it home and I'll separate the sand from the actual clay, and I'll make stuff out of it.
So the clay is made of what?
It's a lot of silica, but it's just whatever the elements are, minerals, just sediment, stuff like that. So that's centered right there. That's one way of doing it, that 3-point of pressure. Another way to do it is the sandwiching technique. So that's pushing at an angle, 45, and then pulling the opposite direction at a 45.
So what are you making right now? It's a vase or?
So I don't know what I'm making right now. What I'm going to show you right now is just how to get to that cylinder, because that's the most important part, is just getting to that space.
It's like the base.
Yeah, it's just the cylinder, and then from that point on is when you start shaping it. Another way to do this is you kind of grab it like that, and then you push at an angle.
Okay. I love grabbing.
But you see how it forces that clay to take that centering. If you just push it at that angle, it forces that clay to take the formation of my left hand. This is another kind of same way, but this is different technique. Pushing straight sideways and then pushing straight down. As you can see, taking the formation of my left hand. Slowly release. And then lastly is the coning technique.
Toning.
Coning. So we're going to cone this up.
Cone. Oh wow.
That pushes it into the center. And then when you push back down, same thing, 45-degree angle, and I'm going to cup it.
That's cool.
Push it at an angle, and I'm going to pull towards me. Lock it in. Slowly release. Okay.
Amazing.
So a lot of times what happens is people, they get really, really close, and then they let go real fast. They get all excited, and then it starts to wobble. So
You're
just
ready
remember,
for
if you're
July.
slowly releasing pressure, it will still keep that symmetrical form. Okay, and once you're centered, what I like to do is start, like, just flatten out the top a little bit before I start making the hole. And now I'm going to take my left hand, my thumb, I'm going to start pushing in, and I'm going to stop about 1/4 of an inch before I go all the way through. Okay? And if you can't determine how deep you've gotten, if you take your needle tool, you want to stab it until you hit the base. Take your index finger down at the bottom, pull up, that's going to give you a reading. The bat's there, clay's right here, that's about 1/4 of an inch. That's where we want to be at as far as thickness wise.
Can you be thicker?
Huh?
Can it be thicker?
It can, yeah. You'll just have to trim off more later when it reaches that leather hard stage. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to open up a nice wide base. Now ideally what we want our base to look like is like this. Straight across, 90-degree angle going up. What we want to avoid is like a V-shaped bottom like that, where you have all this extra clay in that corner area. And you don't want that because it's going to give you more to trim off later. It's going to make your piece heavier. And then you're just kind of wasting a lot of clay, okay? And the way I like to do this, I see you still have fingernails.
You gotta get rid of the fingernails.
So that's going to make it difficult, but what you want to do is you want to take your thumbs and start kind of curling them like that, and then pulling straight across. Now if you have long fingernails, you're going to take your sponge and basically just go at the bottom and pull towards you. If you have long fingernails, you're going to have to be doing a lot of substituting with the sponge. So just keep that in mind.
Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah. But I usually use my thumbs, and I just pull that straight across, and I create a nice flat bottom to the
Oh
piece.
wow.
Now what we want to do is we want to compress this down a little bit, because
It looks like a ball.
yeah. Basically what I've done is I've loosened all the minerals that the clay's made out of. I've ripped it down this way, I've ripped it apart. There's these little tiny air pockets. We want to compress that down and strengthen the base. If we don't, and I have these little air pockets, When I throw it in the kiln, it starts to ramp up in temperature. That air is going to want to escape through steam. It's going to push its way out. It's going to crack the bottom of it. So by just adding a little downward compression, starting from the center out to the wall, that's just going to make it, it's going to ensure that it doesn't crack when I throw it in the kiln.
Okay.
And if you have the fingernails, you're going to take your sponge.
Film it. What did you film?
You're going to take your sponge and you're going to use that instead. Okay?
Oh, you just have fingernails.
Yeah, because then you're going to cut into it with your nails.
I bite mine. I don't have my fingernails.
I do have nail clippers too, if anybody
Oh.
wants to get rid of them.
Well, the dog bit more mine over the weekend. I got a little puppy.
Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to collar this up. Collaring means shortening the diameter of the opening. And I'm just going to squeeze this till it looks like a little volcano.
Oh wow. Is it
It's
active volcano?
No. It will not
from
explode.
beside.
Yeah,
from the
because I'm
Philippines.
afraid of volcanic eruption.
Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our walls the same thickness. So when I did the thumb thing and I pulled everything apart, this negative space is the clay. So it's thinner down at the bottom and it gets thicker as it gets taller. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the thickness exactly the same. I'm gonna take my left hand, I'm gonna rest it here. I'm gonna have two fingers, I'm gonna stick it down in the corner. I'm not gonna push in, I'm just gonna hold it there and I'm gonna tilt back like that. And I'm gonna lift straight up. And what that's gonna do too is gonna provide me with a small, short, stubby cylinder with the walls being the same thickness. It's gonna set up the next move. Tilting back, now lifting up. Slowly
wow.
release. This is called rim compression, so we want to make sure that our rim is nice and flat at all times. And now comes the other hard part, which is called the pull. I don't know if you've ever seen any like pottery videos before, but it's when they start just magically lifting up that cylinder, giving it height. And basically what you're doing is you're compressing the wall. I'm gonna have two fingers. I'm gonna stick it right down here in the corner on the 3 o'clock. Two fingers side by side right next to it. Okay, I'm actually gonna be pushing in with my outside hand until it's resting underneath my inside hand, okay? There's a gap between the base here and the base here, and I'm actually going to be pushing in, lifting up, funneling this wall in between that gap. It's got nowhere else to go but get thinner and taller as I do this, okay?
Oh wow. Excited.
This is a full commitment. You don't want to stop until you get to the very top, okay? If you panic for whatever reason and you stop in the middle, it's just gonna get thinner in that one area and you're gonna have inconsistencies as far as thickness. Another thing, I always take like a thumb or a finger and I rest it on my outside hand, so when I lift up, both hands are going up at the same time, the same amount of distance. Another thing I want to point out is we're never pushing from both directions. Your outside hand is pushing, your inside hand is guiding you as you lift up. If you start pushing from both directions, you're just gonna rip right through your wall and you're gonna ruin your piece. And then the last thing is, once you get to the